Alright, so this unscripted video, it's going to be about the power of effective communication. And I just want to preface that I literally just not really. I woke up like 30 minutes ago and I haven't talked at all. So this is like my first time talking, not the entire day. So if I sound like tired and I stumble over my words, it's just because my voice isn't, it's not there yet. So but effective communication, God, what the hell? Effective communication has saved me a lot of trouble with friends, with loved ones, with my girl. And you really don't know who someone is until you try to explain to them your viewpoints and how you feel through effective communication. I'll get into that later. But effective communication is basically when you try and explain your views and viewpoints in a way that doesn't anger people, but in fact that's like communicating as best you can without trying to anger the other person, sadden the other person, just trying to explain how you view things. It's just how you feel. Let me search up what exactly it means real quick, because that might be a wrong definition, but that's just what my definition is. Let's see. Bruh. Freaking Grammarly. Okay. For communication to be effective, it needs to be clear, complete, concise, and compassionate, and correct. So basically, it's a way to allow others to understand your view of how things are right now. So, like, if your girl or if your best friend makes you angry, you gotta tell them, but don't just try to have some compassion and realize that it's probably not even their fault that they made you angry. They probably didn't even mean it in the first place. So if you effectively communicate how you feel by being clear, by being compassionate, by not showing your emotion and trying to relax as much as possible, by trying to understand why and how they did things, so you're not as mad at them. Because if you are mad, if you are like, you keep shouting or you cry in front of them, or like you're making them feel like crap, then that's only going to lead to a heated argument, which no one really wins, and both of you lose, because it's a freaking heated argument. Who wants to be in an argument? That's why you need effective communication anyway. Because if you don't have effective communication, if you don't communicate effectively how you feel when you first feel that emotion, or when you first start to feel like the rise in anger or sadness due to what your friend or what your girlfriend or what your dad, your mom said, then if you keep that anger, that sadness, that if you keep that emotion held inside of a little bubble, inside of your head, inside of your heart, inside of your body, that's only going to fuel over time. That's only going to add up over time if they keep on doing the same thing over and over and over, because you didn't tell them that you don't like that behavior. If you didn't tell them that you don't like them making fun of you because of the way you laugh, if that really did hurt, if you don't tell them and they keep making fun of you, you just keep getting madder, angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier until you finally burst, until you finally like freaking shout at them, maybe hit them, maybe like slap them or something. That's why you need the effective communication. Because if you don't communicate effectively how you feel when you first feel that emotion, if you don't effectively communicate how you feel, first of all, then it's going to lead to an argument because you don't know how to communicate how you feel through that emotion. You're just like telling them what you think is happening, but you're not trying to make it clear. You're not trying to make it concise. You're not trying to make it not emotional. So you just go off what you think. You just get super emotional and you just get super loud and you just get super mad and let your emotions take over. That shouldn't happen. Because by you doing that, that leads to a heated argument and that leads to no one winning. And they don't understand why you're mad. They don't understand your viewpoint, so that they can't fix it. They can't help you fix the problem. That's why you need the effective communication. Because if you don't, that can happen. Or you can just keep bubbling up, bubbling up, bubbling up. The anger keeps rising and rising and rising. Sadness keeps rising and rising and rising. And then the bubble bursts. Then you get super mad. Then you start crying out. Then you start lashing out. And you hit them. And you yell at them. And they yell at you back. Heated argument. And then you might even lose that best friend of yours just because you couldn't effectively communicate how you felt in that moment. You might lose your girl because you didn't know how to respond. You didn't know how to effectively communicate how you felt. Like if she's hanging around with a guy that you don't like, if you just like keep like thinking, oh whatever, she's not, I can't say anything because that's misogynist or whatever, then that anger is gonna keep on rising and rising and rising, and then you're eventually gonna snap, and then she's gonna get like super mad at you because you're super mad at her. People are a reflection of how you treat them most times. Like if you treat them with anger, what are they gonna treat you with back? Anger. That's just how human nature is. So if you respond, if you tell them how you feel in a clear, non-emotional way, just saying, hey, this is how I feel about something. Like, it really bothered me when you like made fun of my laugh or something, and I just wanted to tell you that before it got any worse. So like, can you please stop? Because that hurts me. That's just how I feel. If you say that, they are more willing to respond in a more calm way. Just like, oh, bro, I'm like, we're just joking around, bro, but I didn't know it affected you. Like, we're sorry, bro. People are always, it's how people respond to effective communication is always telling. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is if you try to just explain your view, explain how you feel, if you try to explain how you feel, just authentically how you feel about something, and they start lashing out, and they start like getting mad, and they start getting angry, that shows that that's not a friend, bro. They're just an emotional kid. Because if you're trying to be unemotional, you're just trying to explain how you authentically feel and how your mind feels in that moment, just like non-emotionally, just you're trying to express how you literally just feel. That's showing you that that friend doesn't authentically want to be your real friend, and it's not your real friend because he's not responding well to how you authentically feel about something. This is how you feel, right? But if your partner, if your girl, if your best friend, your family member gets angry about how you feel, and this is how you really feel, like you can't hide this is how you authentically feel, and you're trying to show that to them, then that shows that they don't want to be with who you really are. if they respond in a way that is bad, that really shows you that they don't they don't like you for who you really are and what you really think. I effectively communicate how I feel with my girl all the time. Anytime she or I feel like an emotion rise up, a negative emotion rise up, we tell each other before it gets any worse and bubbles up, and then we just lash out at each other. That's what we don't want to happen. So we try to tell each other how we feel in the first place when we first start to feel that emotion. And both of us always are so understanding about that. Like, we both understand how we feel because we can both communicate well. We can comprehend things. We can comprehend I can comprehend what she's feeling. She can comprehend what I'm feeling. And how she responds to effective communication is so well. Like, it's so well. Like, she's so understanding about like just how I feel, because I'm just like, I tell her how I feel about a certain thing authentically. What does she do? She goes ahead and understands me. She doesn't lash out. She doesn't get mad about how I feel, because this is just how I naturally feel. But she doesn't respond in anger or sadness. She responds with freaking logic and understanding. She's so loving. She's so compassionate. So what does that show me as her boyfriend? That shows me that we're compatible. Because if she responded to how I naturally felt in a negative way, then we don't correspond. We don't match together. Because she's angry of how I naturally feel. If this is how you authentically feel, this is who you truly are, this is how you truly feel, this is who you are. This is who you naturally are. If she got mad and sad and emotional of how I truly, naturally, authentically felt, then that shows that we weren't a match in the first place. That shows that she didn't love me for who I was, for who I naturally am. And that doesn't just go for a relationship. That goes for any kind of relationship, romantic, or friendships, family relationships. If you try to effectively communicate your feelings, who you naturally are, and they get mad, then that shows that you probably shouldn't be talking at all. Or at least try to limit your time talking to that person, because they don't like you for who you are. They want you to stay into that little bubble of who they think that you are. So the power of communication is so freaking powerful. Because you can solve a relationship problem in 10 minutes to over an hour. You might think, but that's like over an hour. That sounds like so long. Would you rather an hour-long conversation trying to effectively communicate how you two feel, or months and years of her and you both getting angrier and angrier and more emotional by the day, by the month, by the year, just because you don't know how to effectively communicate how you feel about something, and then eventually in like a month, or eventually in a few years, you two both lash out at each other because you two are doing something that you both don't like. So like, let's say she keeps on wearing some like degenerate clothes and she's like showing off herself, right? And then she doesn't like how you always I don't know. What's something that you don't that you always what's something that you get mad about? What's something that a girl get mad about for no reason? Or let's say that you don't like her being on social media, and that she doesn't like you she doesn't like how distant you're being. If you don't effectively communicate how you feel with each other, that energy, those angers about that one thing is going to start rising over time, over time. It compounds over time. The anger about like, oh, why are you being on social media so much? Like, I don't want you showing your body. I don't want you being a degenerate. Like that anger, that underlying anger is just gonna keep getting more prominent. It just compounds over time and it starts rising. And if you don't effectively communicate how you feel from the start, then it's just that last thing that's gonna tip you off. It's gonna start like in a big heated argument with her, like, oh, did you see it? Why are you always doing this? Like, why do you always post yourself on social media? Like, I don't like that. I never like that. Like, she would never have known. And then you're just entering an argument that she would not have known about. She didn't know that you didn't like her being on social media because you never brought it up in an effective way. You probably like said some comment, but she never like took it seriously because she just thought it was a joke or something. That's why you need to effectively communicate how you feel with someone so that they can actually understand how you feel. Imagine that, like those months of anger building up, and you feel it too. Like in that moment, you're just like trying to take a deep breath. You're just like, fuck, why is she doing this, bro? If you just effectively communicate how you felt from the start, like, hey baby, like, this is just how I feel, but I don't like you being on social media so much because I just feel like it's gonna make you like dumb, and I just feel like it's gonna waste a lot of your energy. It's gonna ruin your mental health and all this like other things, like all the negatives about social media. And I just feel like it's just gonna make you into a degenerate. Like you're just gonna start posting like stuff on camera, and then it's gonna get worse and worse. And I don't want that to happen because I love you, and like all that. Like you effectively communicate how you feel, non-emotionally, and you're just trying to get your point across as compassionate and as clear as possible. Then she's gonna understand. Then she's gonna want to work it out with you. Then she's gonna want to like fix the problem with you because she understands how you feel. And she understands that point. So would you rather go through a 10 to hour long conversation that's very uncomfortable, but you get it done and you get it over with really quickly, and then you both can be like happy again, like your friend, and you like get it, you just effectively communicate how you feel with your friend, and then like after that you guys are like freaking bros again and nothing's wrong? Or just months and years of anger building up, and then you eventually lash out at the guy because you're just so angry because you didn't effectively communicate from the start. So just be clear, concise, try to be as unemotional as possible, and just like something that always helps me is just like, before you say anything, just say, hey, I'm gonna be completely honest, this is just how I feel. And then just tell them how you like what you think and what you feel about a certain topic. Because when you say that, then that just shows them it's just like, okay, he's trying to be as real as possible. And if I respond in a bad way, then that probably shows them that I'm a dick. So yeah, if this unscripted video helped you in a way, like, subscribe, do the artwork, now sub later, and it's always been like, look at that bicep pain.